Your AI agent just emailed a client the wrong report. Nobody told it to. Somewhere inside its own reasoning, it decided the task was done. And there was no checkpoint, no human, nothing in the system built to catch that call before it went out. That's what happens when you let one agent pick every decision. Today, I'm showing you the fix: graph engineering. Designing your AI system as an explicit controllable workflow instead of a single agent improvising the whole thing. We will define it, break down the building blocks, and build a real LangGraph workflow together, live with a human approval gate built in. Let's go. So where does this graph engineering idea actually came from and why now? AI agent development has moved through phases: prompting, context engineering, tool use, autonomous loops, memory, multi-agent system. Graph engineering is the layer on top of all of that. It treats your application as an explicit graph of nodes and transition, not one agent doing everything internally. Now take a system that researches a topic, writes a report, checks its own facts, and sends it to a client. As a single agent, all of that went to search when it has enough evidence, whether the output is correct. When it's done, is hidden inside model context. You can't see it or test it. As a graph, planning, researching, writing, evaluation, and human approval are separate visible nodes with explicit rules what can happen next. The agent still reasons freely inside own nodes. They don't just control the whole system anymore. The graph does it. That raises the obvious next question. What exactly is a node and what are explicit rules? Let's define the actual vocabulary because we will be using it for the rest of the video. There are 7 pieces here and they are built on each other. So stick with me in order. Nodes are the bounded unit of work. A node doesn't have to be an LLM. It can be a Python function, a database query, a policy check, or a human approval request. One important point: business logic stays deterministic code. Bring in the model only where the semantic judgment is genuinely needed. Now, nodes on their own are just isolated boxes. Something has to decide what connects to what. That's the job of edges. Edges define what can run next: direct, conditional, parallel, looping error, human control. That routing logic can be plain code or model classifier depending on how fuzzy the decision is. But edge needs something to make decision about. Some shared records of what happened so far. That's state. State is the shared type record every node reads and writes. Type state means each node only sees what it needs instead of full conversation dump every time. State works cleanly when one node updates at a time. But what happens when several nodes write at once? That's where reducers comes in. State reducers handle it when parallel nodes update the same field. Say 3 research agent returns evidence at once. Without a clear reducer, parallel branches can quietly overwrite each other. We have got nodes, edges, and state. Now let's make those edges actually smart. That's what routes and guard conditions are for. Routes and guard condition decide which edge fires. Hard constraints belongs in the code, not buried in the prompt where the model can miss it. And because route makes the real decision, the graph also need a way to pause safely and pick back later. That's what checkpoint and interrupts gives us. Checkpoint snapshot graph state so a workflow can resume after an interruption or wait on a human for days. Interrupts are what pauses the graph and hand control to a person before sending an email, issuing a refund, publishing a content. That's the full vocabulary: nodes, edges, state, reducer, routes, checkpoints, interrupts. Now here's where it gets useful. These 7 pieces combine into a small set of recurring shapes. And once you can recognize them, you can look at almost any agent system and know exactly how it's built. 6 patterns and each one built on a bit on the last. Prompt chaining is the simplest. Each node feeds the next in a straight line. Use it when the task breaks into fixed, verifiable stages. The moment your task is in one path but several possible paths, chaining isn't enough. You need routing. A router sends work down a specialized branch, deterministic code for exact categories, a model classifier only when it truly needs semantic judgment. Routing pick one branch, but sometimes you don't want to pick. You want to run several branches at the same time. That's parallelization. Parallelization is an independent task run at once to cut latency. The catch: only parallelize things that are actually independent, or you will get inconsistent results that are hard to reproduce. Parallelization assumes you already know the branches ahead of time. When you don't, the subtask depends on request itself. You need something that can decide that on the fly. That's orchestration worker pattern. Orchestrator-Worker means one orchestrator breaks a task down and delegates it to other worker. Good when you don't know the subtask in advance. Keep the orchestrator planning and delegating. The moment it also does every tool call itself, you have rebuilt a monolithic agent. All 4 patterns so far are about getting an output. The next 2 are about making sure the output is actually good before it goes anywhere. Now, Evaluator-Optimizer. One part generates, another critiques, and it loops until it's good enough. Works when your evaluation criteria are actually clear. An evaluator can catch a lot, but for anything consequential, you still want a person in the loop. That's the last pattern, and it's the one we will lean on most in the build. Human in the loop. A person reviews before anything consequential happens. Make it risk-based. Approval on every harmless step just makes the system slow. That's the theory of half of this video. Let's make it concrete. I'm going to combine several of these patterns into one working graph, live. So now let's build a research workflow. Plan the task, gather evidence, write a draft, evaluate it, revise it if weak, get human approval, finalize. That review result model forces the evaluator to return a structured verdict, approved or not, plus specific feedback instead of paragraph we would have to pass ourselves. So now let's first explore the nodes. Planner nodes turns the topic into a research plan. Research node follows the plan and produces evidence, explicitly separating verified facts from assumptions. Write node drafts the article from that evidence. Evaluator node checks the draft against the evidence and returns approval plus feedback. Revision node fixes only what was flagged and increment a revision count. That interrupt call pauses the graph entirely, hands control to a person, could be seconds, could be days. When they respond, execution resumes right where it left off. Notice the evaluator never controls the graph directly, it just updates the state, and this routing function decides where to go. The revision cap is what stops an evaluator-optimizer loop from running forever and burning your API budget. And that thread ID what tells LangGraph which stored execution to pick back up. One warning, in-memory saver loses everything on restart. Fine for a notebook, not for production. Use a durable database backed checkpointer there. And that word, production, is exactly where I want to go next. Because everything we just built will run fine in a notebook and still fall over in the real world if we stop here. A few things the diagram won't show you. Give every node a clear contract, inputs, outputs, timeout, retry policy, failure categories, and make retries idempotent. So a retried payment node never changes someone twice. Classify errors instead of retrying everything blindly. A rate limit deserves a retry. A policy violation should just stop. Isolate context so each node only sees what it needs, not the entire state. And trace everything. Node start, routes taken, tool calls, tokens, latency, human decisions. Because that's what saves you when something breaks at 2 a.m. On framework, LangGraph gives you the most low-level control over state and routing. Google ADK fits teams already in that ecosystem. Microsoft Agent Framework suits Python, .NET, or Go teams needing enterprise integration. And sometimes you don't need a framework at all. If most of the workflow is deterministic, plain Python and Q can coordinate a few LLM steps just fine. So, we have gone from why single agents break, through the vocabulary, through the patterns and the build, and hardened an actual graph. Let's bring it all the way back to the one idea I want you to leave with. Graph engineering isn't free. More infrastructure, more state, more complexity, more to test. It's worth when it makes a system safer, faster, or easier to maintain, not just because the diagram has more boxes. Here's the real takeaway. Don't start by asking how many agents you need. Start by mapping the actual work, the dependencies, the decision points, where you can parallelize and where you need validation. What happens on failure and where a human genuinely needs to be involved. The agents fills the node. The engineering lives in the edges. If this was useful, subscribe and tell me in the comments which pattern you want a deeper dive on. See you in the next one.